Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell it the truth about silver. Today is Tuesday the 22nd of June 2021 and we're looking at gold and silver prices together with some other financial data and general news headlines. We see gold and silver are up on the week so far, though the technicals are suggesting a further move downwards. So let's take a look. Here we are, Tuesday, 22nd of June. It's approximately 9:55 a.m. GMT +1, and the sun is shining, but the wind is blowing. So let's take a look at what's happening to the news and precious metal prices. Well, on Bloomberg, as we can see, UK still deeply split on Brexit 5 years after referendum. Powell renews forecast for inflation subsiding towards the Fed's goal. We'll take a quick look at that in a second. UK borrowing falls more than expected as economy rebounds. So the government economists will be very happy about that. China crypto clampdown sends Bitcoin closer to key $30,000 level. Yes, the Chinese government has not only now stopped mining of Bitcoin in China, they've also called in all the retailers and banks and have told them they must no longer deal in cryptocurrencies. I wonder why that is. Tata warns world won't return to pre-COVID norms. Qatar Forum. And just World Bank, African Union agreed plan to accelerate vaccinations. And I think UK begins negotiations to join the Trans-Pacific Trading Bloc. And that's interesting. So let's take a look at the key thing that's going to affect us. And that is Powell renews forecast for inflation. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it'll be too long, but Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said inflation had picked up, but should move back towards the US Central Bank's 2% target once supply imbalances resolve. Quote, inflation has increased notably in recent months, Powell said in written remarks prepared for his Tuesday testimony before the House Select Subcommittee on the coronavirus crisis, citing increases in oil prices and a rebound in spending as the US economy reopens. As these transitory supply effects abate, inflation is expected to drop back towards our longer run goal, he said. Powell's remarks reprised his opening comments at his June 16th press conference following a policy meeting of the central bank. So, later today, I think it's 2 p.m. In local time there, and it's something closer towards the evening here in the UK, we shall be listening to Jerome Powell give a statement before the Select Committee. Now, just quickly jumping onto BBC News. Oh, before I do that, just a reminder for those who haven't listened to our previous videos, we had quite a stock market fall last week as a result of Jerome Powell's announcement at the FOMC on Wednesday, whereby although they didn't raise interest rates technically, nor did they cut back on their bond buying program, they did suggest that there could be 2 interest rate rises in 2023 and possibly one instead in 2022. But they were likely to have talks very shortly about tapering this 120 billion a month bond buying program. That sent stock markets into a bit of a spin, and we saw the dollar strengthen, and we saw yields rise, and we saw gold and silver prices plummet. So he seems to be walking back a little bit, but not a lot on that, but still seems to remain confident that we can have a 2% inflation rate in the US, even though at the moment it's currently 5%, and predictions are that next month they'll drop to about 3.5%. Okay, what's going on in the UK? Poorer white pupils let down and neglected. MPs. White pupils from low-income families are falling behind every step of the way, an education committee says. Okay. All Bumble staff given week off to de-stress. And I think, oh my goodness, what counts for news today really is quite shameful. Let's have a look in America. Churches burned down on Canadian Indigenous land. Police are treating the two blazes in the western province of British Columbia as suspicious. US Supreme Court gives college athletes a win. The top court examined whether caps on benefits to student athletes violated federal law. You see, people don't seem to be interested in economic news, so we get all this nonsense. It's quite worrying, to say the least. If I look under business, I'm not sure how much we're going to get that. Government borrowing eases in May. That's mentioned already on Bloomberg. Restaurants stop serving lunch due to lack of staff. China tells banks not to support cryptocurrency. So nothing really particularly outstanding. So with that in mind, let's have a look what happened to equity markets yesterday. Well, we can see in America that the Dow was up 586 points, over 1.5%. The S&P was up 58, Nasdaq up 111. And overnight, Asian Pacific markets, except for the Hang Seng, broadly up 3%. And now in the UK, it's now as we speak 10:01. We have the Euro Stoxx index down 17. The FTSE's up, albeit only 11 points. The DAX, though, is down 74. And the CAC is down 15. Energy prices marginally down. WTI crude 73. Brent crude 74. And we'll have a look at economic news in a moment. Let's see what's happening to gold and silver. So we have at the moment gold on a 24-hour basis is down $4.75 and is currently $1,778. And you can see in this chart that on Monday rose to 1785, dropped, attempted recovery, dropped, then staged quite a recovery, meandered, went up, and now is heading back down. If we look at the price compared to Friday's close, it closed at 1765, it's now 1778, so it's up $13 since Friday, but still overall 86 for a whole 7 days. Let's take a look at silver. This is the silver chart today. Similar trace to gold, but much more, or many more gyrations, shall we say. Silver falling back slightly, currently at 25.88. It closed on Friday at 25.81, so it's actually 7 cents up since Friday. So let's take a look now at economic news, and then I'll talk a little bit more about gold and silver. Well, yesterday we had Fed Presidents Bullard, Kaplan and Harker and the New York Fed President John Williams all speaking, and I can say that generally their comments were quite positive in terms of the economy rebounding quite robustly in their individual states. Now today we have existing home sales figures coming out, and then Cleveland Fed President Loretta Mester and San Francisco President Mary Daly speaking, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell testifies on coronavirus, but will no doubt talk in some depth about inflation, as we've heard earlier. More important data is out tomorrow, which we mentioned in our weekly update. So we've got the manufacturing and services flash PMIs, and Thursday We'll cover this tomorrow again, but on Thursday, initial jobless claims, trading goods, GDP revisions. But Friday's the key one for us: personal income, consumer spending, core PCE price index. And I think that will set the trend for the following week. So going back to gold, excuse me, currently $1,778. Well, basically, from a technical point of view, the general consensus is that gold is likely to trade within the Fibonacci level of somewhere between 1770 and just below $1,800. You've got quite significant resistance at the 100-day moving average of 1795, but then you have support at 1756 and then 1725 below that. If gold passes 1795, then you have resistance at two key levels, 1822 and 1838. So we're not talking about huge moves for gold this coming week unless something extraordinary happens. If we look at silver, again, silver prices have fallen. Let's go back to the day chart. Have fallen slightly, although they're up compared to Friday's close. We're not talking significant amounts, 11 cents in 24 hours. But part of the reason, again, is copper prices have also fallen, and silver does tend to move to some degree in line with copper. You've got 50-day resistance resistance at the 50-day moving average of 2704. But we have the 10-day and 50-day moving averages crossing, which, from a technical speak point of view, means lower prices. The MACD histogram is also pointing to lower prices. So we're going to have to see whether that actually happens. But for the moment, we're not expecting any major rises currently. Let's take a quick look at the dollar index to see what's happening there. And as we can see, we have the spot dollar index still above 92 at 92.07. The day's range has, though, been as low as 91.87 to 92.07. So we've seen a little bit of a weakening in the US dollar. What was quite significant previously was that we saw funds actually coming out of the equity market last week and moving into bonds. And it does still seem to be the case that people have a reasonable amount of confidence in the US dollar and US treasuries. That's it for now. We produced 2 videos yesterday. Hopefully you will have had a chance to look at them. Should you buy or invest in gold and silver, and our gold and silver morning update. And not to forget to remind you, hopefully, that we did talk about why dollar strength may only be temporary, allowing gold and silver prices to recover again. And we include links to those 3 in the description box below, together with the one video that's done extraordinarily well for us with 14,000 views, why gold and silver prices just crashed, and it might be worth looking at that one to put everything into context. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow. Just a quick reminder, please, if you like what you've heard, give us a thumbs up, share the video with anyone that you know who could benefit from it, subscribe if you haven't already done so, press the bell sign, and please leave a comment. Thank you once again. Disclaimer. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.